Thank you to Ana Luisa for sponsoring today's video. Ana Luisa is my absolute favorite everyday jewelry brand for many reasons. Their pieces are super high quality, beautiful, can be dressed up or down, and are just so comfortable. Not only that, but Ana Luisa is committed to fair prices while producing jewelry ethically. There is no unnecessary mining or excessive markups. They use recycled materials whenever possible, and they are 100% carbon and water neutral from start to finish. If you look through my videos, I'm mostly wearing Ana Luisa pieces. And while I love nearly everything they sell, my favorite are the dainty feminine necklaces that don't get tangled in my hair. I wear them every day and often sleep in them as well. If you're looking to treat yourself or someone else with a beautiful and ethical piece of jewelry, then I really recommend you check out Ana Luisa by clicking the link in the pinned comment. And if you use my code, you'll also get an extra 10% off your purchase. Thanks again, Ana Luisa. I really love working with you. And now on to today's video. Hi, welcome to Jovie's home. Today, I wanted to talk to you guys about why I moved to the Netherlands and kind of talk a little bit about my background and how I ended up moving from the United States to the Netherlands. I've been talking to you guys already for like 2.5 years on YouTube, and I realized maybe this is something that not everyone knows. So if you want to hear all about how and why I moved here and also why I stay here, then why don't you come on in, kick off your shoes and stay a while. I'm really glad you're here. Today's Dutch word of the day is kwaliteit van het leven, which means quality of life. So picture this. The year is 2007. Baby Jovie. No, I am in my last year of law school, and one of my teachers comes up to me and he says, Jovie, have you ever considered a career in international criminal law? Now, as somebody who was really feeling pretty passionate about criminal law, I had not considered the possibility of international criminal law. That sounded really cool to me. And I was like, well, tell me more. And that professor sat me down and told me all about the war crimes tribunals that were here in The Hague. And then he said to me that they also have internship programs and that I should look into it because he thinks that I'd be a good fit. Like, instantly, I went home and I started Googling and I started researching, and I found the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia that was here in The Hague. Now, that is particularly interesting for me because if you don't know, I am originally from Yugoslavia, okay? I was born in Belgrade in 1983, and my family lived there until 1988. My parents are both Serbian, Yugoslavian at the time, Serbian now, stupid war. But yes, so it was my dad's dream to move to Canada. He and my mom ended up applying for like a work permit and a visa to go to Canada, and they were granted it. So off we went when I was 5 years old to Canada. We lived in Canada until I was 15, at which point we ended up moving to the United States, to Arizona. Arizona, oh, that place has like a big spot of my heart. Like I love and I miss Arizona. Not the stupid politics, but I do miss Arizona so much. I really loved living there, and I think it's, of all the states, in my opinion, Arizona is the best for living. But yeah, then I was in law school in San Diego, California. So that's where I studied law. All this to say, that is why the Yugoslavia Tribunal was super interesting to me, because I speak the language and I had something else to offer other than just like, hey, I'm a law student, I can come and be an intern. It was also like, I'm a law student, I can be an intern, and I speak Serbian. So I applied and I received one of the internships. It was amazing. It was so exciting to actually get a place. So in January of 2008, I came here with 2 suitcases and like my dreams and my goals, ready to start an internship at the ICTY. I came in and I was offered a place at the office of the prosecutor. So that is where I started my career, and it was great. I enjoyed the work. I thought it was really interesting, an interesting subject. And I also really liked that that was my last actual semester of law school and I didn't have to go to any classes. It just worked out really, really well. Now, it just so happens that I was starting an internship and there was somebody leaving their internship. And that weekend, there was like a farewell party for someone who was leaving, and she invited me to come to her party. And it was at her house, her farewell party, that I met my now husband, who was also doing an internship at the ICTY at the same time. So that is kind of how I met my husband. We're not going to talk too much about that now because he really wants to stay off of the internet. So I'm not going to talk about him, but that's where we met. And that is how I ended up marrying and living in the Netherlands with a non-Dutch man. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say about that. So my internship ran from January until May, and in May I flew back to San Diego where I walked in my law school graduation, and that was great. I was, you know, finished with school and it was really exciting. I was offered also like a short-term contract to go to Sierra Leone to work at the Special Court for Sierra Leone in Chambers. And Chambers, if you don't know, that means you work with the judges. So I had been with the prosecutor and now I was going to Sierra Leone for a period of 8 months to work with the judges. Also with war crimes, crimes against humanity, all of these things. Once again, I found it super interesting, although I must say that my time in Sierra Leone opened my eyes to an entirely different world, and I lost a little bit of my passion for the law, and I became much more passionate about the humanitarian side of things, and I have a video about that. I will link it here if you want to watch. It's intense. But I really, really liked it. However, my husband and I ended up deciding that we were going to leave Sierra Leone and come back to The Hague. We wanted to be in Europe, and this was just a great place for us. Fast forward to July of 2009, and I am living in the Netherlands. I had enrolled at the University of Amsterdam to get an LLM in public international law. So I was hoping to be working, but also studying part-time. And that's actually what ended up working out to be. I was hired onto a defense team at the ICTY. So I had, as I said, I had started out in prosecution, I had worked in chambers, and then I was given an opportunity to work on a defense team, which I really loved, that I got to experience all of those three different ways of approaching international law and criminal law and the way of thinking. And I love that experience, having all three. So that is then what I did. And I was working on this case for over a year. Like it was a while. But working on that case made me realize that international criminal law and I don't really actually mix. So I ended up feeling overwhelmed by the subject, in the sense that when we're talking about international criminal law, we are talking about the worst crimes that can be committed against people. Like, you were talking about, you know, tons of civilian deaths, genocides, like forced marriages, which is just another way of saying that I can't say it on YouTube without getting demonetized, but like, you know, RAPE, like countless accounts of that. Then you also have like experiences with child soldiers, where children who are like as young as 6, 7 years old are completely corrupted and forced to be soldiers. And I'm a really sensitive person, if you haven't seen that from all the times that I've cried on this channel, but like I'm really emotional and sensitive, and I started getting really burdened with the actual emotional aspects of working on cases like this. So I was just like, you know what? I need a boring job. So it cannot be this kind of like heavy emotional toll. My husband, he is also an international criminal lawyer. I don't think I mentioned that, but he is passionate about it. This is what he wants, and this is what he does. And that's fantastic. However, both of us together working in the same field meant that we were only talking about that, and my entire life was crime, and it was too much. So I needed to diversify. So I ended up applying for the first time ever for a Dutch job. Now, it was in an American company that was opening up its headquarters here in the Netherlands. It's EMEA, Europe, Middle East and Africa headquarters here. So I was applying for a job there in their legal department to deal with contracts and all kinds of other completely boring stuff, which for me, coming out of a field that was just like engulfing all of my emotions, felt amazing and was what I wanted. So I ended up working there for a while, and then I had my child. My company was taken over by a competitor, and everything changed. The whole vibe of the office changed. My job changed, like everything just changed, and I didn't like it anymore. So I ended up leaving that, and I went to another Dutch company where I worked in compliance, and I just like love it. I love it. I completely grew to love my life here. And yeah, my husband's job is obviously here. And the thing about international criminal law is that The Hague is the place to be if this is what you want to do. There are opportunities to practice international criminal law that are not necessarily in The Hague, but those are kind of ad hoc tribunals or things that might have a limited duration, or they might be in a very dangerous place in the world. But in terms of like a permanent job that is like reliable and you can go to every day and stuff, like The Hague, like this is where you want to be if you're an international criminal lawyer. So we ended up staying here, first of all, for my husband's job, but second of all, because we loved it. We loved living in the Netherlands. Some of the reasons that I particularly love the Netherlands, if you don't want to go back and watch all the videos on my channel, which are like love letters to the Netherlands, but here are some of the reasons why I really, really value and love living in the Netherlands. I'm gonna read it from my list, okay? So Dan, don't get mad at me because I'm gonna look down. You're gonna send me a message like, Jovie, don't do that. I'm just telling you and the audience I'm reading from my list. So here we go. Here's what I love about living in the Netherlands. It's clean. Things are organized very well. There's good public transportation. There's a good social safety net. There's a feeling of solidarity and looking after each other. I feel safe here. I mean, of course, crime happens everywhere, okay? I'm not saying that this is like some utopia and stuff doesn't happen here, because of course it does. But if I compare to the other places where I have lived, with this place where I live, I feel a lot safer here than anywhere else. And it's a good feeling. And then of course, once we had kids, then I realized like what an amazing place this is to raise your children. There are tons of videos about that on my channel, and also I'm filming one shortly. But this, in my opinion, is the best country in the world to raise your kids. Like, I'm convinced of that, and you cannot tell me otherwise. So as I mentioned before, like my experience in the Netherlands, like I started out working at the ICTY, which is an international organization. And then I had two kind of local or typical, like regular Dutch jobs. And now I am a freelancer and I work for myself. I have a Dutch company where we earn money through the work that we do on YouTube and other social media. So I really have this like interesting experience with all of these kind of jobs, and I value and appreciate all of it. And I just feel like the Netherlands has really enabled me, the way that the system is set up here has enabled me to succeed. I do want to mention again, not again, but I do want to mention I am currently also getting ready to go back to work. I am actively applying for and interviewing for jobs. Like again, in the legal field, I'm looking to get back into like legal work or compliance, like things like this in the legal field. Now that both of my kids are in school full time. So I do want to mention that is something. So if you're interested in a video where I talk about how I'm doing that, what my applications might look like, or how I'm targeting things, like if you have questions, I know that jobs is like a big thing here, and maybe you're watching and thinking like, how am I going to get a job? If you're interested in me talking about that experience, let me know in the comments or give this video a thumbs up or something, but let me know, engage with this in some way, and I will make that video for you. Just let me know if you want it. What I also want to mention is I'm not leaving YouTube, so no matter what job I get, I'm going to continue doing this. YouTube and social media is my creative outlet, and I love it so much. So that will always be a part of my life, I hope, you know. But I am looking for also another job. So let me know if you are interested in hearing about that. And yeah, I guess that's it. So that's how I ended up in the Netherlands. Not married to a Dutch guy. You know, it didn't work out that way for me, but this is my story and why I love it and how I decided to stay. So I hope that lets you guys know a little bit more about me. I want to know, how did you end up in the Netherlands? Like, let me know in the comments below. Share your story. I'm really curious, if you were not born in the Netherlands, how did you end up here? It's really fun to share these stories. So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to our sponsor, Ana Luisa, once more for sponsoring today's video. Make sure you check out the link in my description box. Check out their sale, check out their jewelry, which I'm also wearing. It's so beautiful. It's really my favorite. I love working with Ana Luisa, like, because I really love the jewelry and it's what I wear all the time. So anyway, make sure you check that out. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Doei!